Where do you go when you wanna go higher? See places and things, and it never expires. A book can take you anywhere. Turn the pages and you'll be there. Come on, join us, you'll see. We're reading with Carylee.
We have some amazing talent here in Manassas, and that was Mabutu Richardson. Thank you for recording our theme song. We now have a theme song. Thank you. So we're going to jump right in. We have another amazing author here, Mr. BK Fulton, and he is bringing us today Mr. Business. Now, this is somewhat of, I guess, an autobiographical book, but we'll let Mr. BK Fulton take us into that as we get into the story. So, without further ado, Mr. BK Fulton.
The first book I'm going to read is called Mr. Business, The Adventures of Little BK, Book 1, The First Day of School. And it's a book about when I was a new kid in a new neighborhood, and I actually got chased home from school. So let us begin. We're going to go to page 2. Okay. What's that? Wake up, Brian. It's your first day of school. Oh man, he thought. The first day of 3rd grade in a new school. He hoped it was going to be an exciting day. Don't call me Brian, Mom, he said. He hated when she called him Brian. It usually meant he was in trouble. She handed him his glasses. Call me Keith. I like my middle name better. Keith is cool. His mom frowned. I named you Brian, she said, so that's what I'm going to call you. A new school, he thought, smiling. I'm going to tell everyone my name is Keith. A new school would mean a new start and a new name. He was nervous about the first day of school. He did not know the kids in the neighborhood yet. Would they like him? Plus, he was wearing those checkered pants and that funny hat with flaps. Maybe he looked more like Brian. The bus pulled up and he stepped on and sat down. A kid popped up from the seat behind him. Nice hat, new kid, he laughed. Sit down, Grimes, the bus driver yelled. Yeah, Keith was in trouble. Grimes gave him the I'm going to get you after school look. Keith ducked his head and adjusted his smart guy glasses. He avoided Grimes all day. 3rd grade was hard enough without checkered pants and glasses and a hat with flaps. When the last bell rang, the race for the bus began. If he got on the bus first, the bus driver could protect him, and he could get a head start on the run home once the bus reached his stop. Grimes gave him the mean eye as soon as he got on the bus. He got on a little late, but found his seat behind Keith so he could keep his eyes on him. The bus rode along. Keith and Grimes did not say a word, but Keith could feel Grimes staring at him. I'm so happy I have on my fast shoes, Keith thought to himself. The bus stopped, and Keith bolted off the bus. Grimes was in hot pursuit. They ran past the bushes and the trees. They ran past the big house on the corner. They ran right up to Keith's house and kept going into his backyard. Rusty, Keith's faithful dog, was in the backyard. Keith ran straight to Rusty. Grimes stopped all of a sudden when Rusty began to bark and growl a little. Come on now, Keith yelled. Come and get me now. He smiled. Rusty had saved him. Grimes turned and grinned, then said, "We have school tomorrow, too." "Rusty will be waiting," Keith said. Then he heard his mom calling, "Brian, come inside. Time to do your homework." Being called Brian was not so bad. Maybe he could be Brian and Keith. This was the beginning of BK. There was still more school and more to learn about the neighborhood, but today was a good day for little BK. And then at the end of each book, we have a journal entry, and in this one, a good friend always has your back. So that's the first day of school.
Well, thank you, Mr. BK Fulton, for that awesome book. So now we understand where BK came from.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so this book is, is it somewhat autobiographical, or is it fully
It's
autobiographical?
absolutely 100% biographical.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, Grimes, I didn't change his name, and I called him before.
Okay.
But he's one of my best friends. And I said, "I'm going to tell the folk how you chased me home from school." We ended up going to college together. So after he read the book, he laughed. He bought a bunch of copies. And then he said, "I'm going to write a book about us being in college."
Oh.
I was like, "Don't do that."
So, what was your inspiration for wanting to write this book and this series?
Yeah, so this is part of a 7-book series. It's actually book 1. My first book I wrote in 2015, and my wife was the inspiration behind the first and these. She told me that I had such an adventurous childhood that it might be fun to share it with people. So the first book was called Shauna, and it was about a poem I wrote when I was 16 about my little sister who has Rett syndrome. And then after I worked and retired, I started a film company and some other things, and then realized that, I really believe readers become leaders. And so I thought that maybe some of the fun things that I learned growing up, I could share with people that are still growing up.
That's amazing, and definitely we do know that readers are leaders, and that's one of the foundations behind this show. So, what was your favorite book growing up?
Where the Wild Things Are.
Okay.
I love that book. I was an athlete. I had to take care of my sister. I would cut grass with my dad.
Okay.
And so that book was kind of an escape for me from what felt like a lot of responsibility. And so I used to enjoy, I'd go to my room, or I'd hide under the bed, and I'd have a flashlight and my book.
Okay.
And I'd pretend that I was in a forest where the wild things are.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, we definitely thank you for coming here and reading the first book of Mr. Business, The Little Adventures of BK. And for your chances to get a signed copy of today's book, just email us at readwithcarylee.com. And we thank Mr. BK Fulton for coming and reading for us. And you will be joining us again soon, I hope.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. So thank you for joining us in the audience, and thank you for joining us out on YouTube with the Read with Carylee show. And if you're ever in the Prince William area, be sure to come and stop by Durrani Coffee House and check us out. We're here every first Saturday. The tickets are free. Just go ahead and go to our website, readwithcarylee.com, to get your tickets. And have a great day. Remember, grab a book and read.
We're reading with Carylee.
Thanks for watching another amazing episode of the Read with Carylee show. We have amazing authors coming by every week. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe below. You don't want to miss a thing.